Greetings, this is Daphne Valson, and we are on Facebook Live. Again, I am a leadership and business coach. So I basically help business leaders to maximize their productivity and results, helping them with clarity, confidence, and cash flow. And then when it comes to my leadership clients, they're individuals who want to prioritize around certain areas of their lives. And so I basically help them through the action steps so that they can have long-term, high-impact results. Today, I wanted to talk to you all about time management strategies that can really maximize your productivity. And so I'm doing these Facebook Lives. I'm going to try to be doing them at least once a month so that individuals can gain a lot of really practical tools that are going to help them with either life or business. And I want you to tag someone who you think would benefit from this Facebook Live today. This, I think, is a topic that is really impactful for everyone I know, no matter what it is you're doing, because time management, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why I've been able to have a successful business, but also one of the reasons why I've been able to really put a lot of effort into being a good wife and mom. Write down anything that you hear that resonates with you during this call, and I'm also going to put out a blog post afterwards this morning that has some of the different things that I talk about. So we all want peace, and often peace comes through feeling like we're fulfilled in life and the purposes that we feel are part of our lives. Whether that's business purposes or, like I said, the personal purposes that we have, the things that we've always wanted to do, the things that we're really, really passionate about. But some of us feel like we're all over the place. Some of us feel like there's not enough time in the day. Some of us feel like we are procrastinators. Some of us feel like we are setting aside time to complete tasks, but the time is going away from us. Some of us feel distracted. And so all of these things that I'm talking about made the difference with clients that I served when it comes to figuring out how do we push past these things. So when I started my business, I was working early morning to late at night. I was working without seeing the fruit of what I was producing. I had been productive in other endeavors, which I have in common with a number of the entrepreneurs I serve. They say, well, I've been good at productivity when it comes to this thing. It's just in this thing, all of a sudden, I'm not doing how I feel like I can be successful. I'm not doing it in a way that is allowing me to do the things that I need to do. So I realized that I had some challenges prioritizing my vision over everything else. I am a woman of service, and so I was serving everyone, which is really great. Strangers, mentees, all kind of people, but I wasn't working on my vision. So the first thing is I had to figure out how to prioritize my vision and still stay true to what I feel God has called me to do, which is to serve. The next thing is prioritizing my vision among the other things that I was doing. So I was into making sure that, I could work on my natural hair. I was into making sure that I was going out to schools and speaking, which is really great and I'm really passionate about, even when I was working full time, even before I became an entrepreneur. I wanted to make sure that my clothes were in order always. My room was fixed before I left my house, which is all good stuff, right? Or cooking in the morning. But what we realize sometimes when we're trying to do something that we're really passionate about is that we can't do everything and still focus on that one thing that we feel, especially that God has called us to do. Even when that one thing is be a good mother. Not being able to do everything and then focus on that one thing. So one of the things that I've read before is tell me where you spend your time and I'll tell you where your priorities are. So this is the first action step that I'm going to ask you all to do. Make a list of everything that you're doing, and then I want you to look at that list and see if that list reflects your values. So if you've made a list of maybe 20 things, and entrepreneurship is a goal for you, or getting your graduate degree is a goal for you, or worshiping God and being active in church is a goal for you, or even teaching your children about character values is a goal for you, or maybe it's marriage is a goal for you. Does where you're spending your time reflect your values? Does where you're spending your time reflect your values? And even if you don't have time to make that list right now, just think about it. Does where you're spending your time reflect your values? If one of your highest values is family and a focus on your family, does where you're spending your time reflect that value? So I want you to make a new list. And I want you to, when you're thinking about that list of the things that you want to be involved in, the things that you feel like you value in a huge way, make a new list of what it is that you're going to be doing that's going to change your life so that your life reflects those values. We have a limited time on this earth. And so ensuring that your priorities are met in the way that you spend your time from morning to night is really, really important. For one of my clients, shifting their priorities resulted in them going from making hundreds of dollars the year before in their business to making thousands of dollars per month. They just had to shift the way that they were working their schedule on a daily basis so that they spent time doing the things that were passionate to them. And let me tell you more specifically what that looks like for you all. So let's say you are an entrepreneur, you're working a full-time job, you're not really able to find the time to work on your business. Maybe you spend months and months where you don't feel like you're putting in what you want to put in. What I did when I was starting my business is that I focused on what was called dream chasing or dream catching time. Every day I scheduled an hour as I was working my full-time job, either before work at 6 a.m. So I woke up early in the morning, as many successful people do, woke up 6 a.m., spent an hour working on my business. My business is actually. So I am an executive director of a nonprofit, and I also have this for-profit Daphne Bowson Coaching. So I spend an hour every single morning working on either Daphne Bowson Coaching or my nonprofit. And then in the evening time, if I had another hour to spare in the evening, no matter if I had networking events or other things I wanted to do or service or going out to see friends and all that kind of stuff, I needed 1 hour of dream catching or dream chasing time in the evening time for me to work on my business. So what ended up happening was every single day, I was spending time working on the things that I was most passionate about so that they grew. I think that is the year that my nonprofit scholarship went from $200 to $2,000. That was that year, every year for teenagers. So other people benefited and were blessed by the work that I did. That is also the year that by the end of, I think the end of that year, that fiscal year, that school year, I was able to get certified in life coaching. I took a Kaplan class for an MBA. I scored a 650. I think that's the top 1% of people, I think African Americans in the country. I applied for business school. I thought I was going to business school, fell in love, got married, which is great. Woohoo! But did all of that stuff, was launching the business, was meeting with board members from the nonprofit, was dating my husband, the man who became my husband, all of that stuff around the same time, because I spent that time dream catching and dream chasing. And then I had that other time that I spent throughout the day where I worked on those other priorities, which included, and I like to mention my husband because it included relationship. So I made sure that I spent time contributing to relationships. So that's the first thing. Make a list of what you're doing. Figure out what you're doing, because until you know exactly what you're doing and where your time is going, you won't be able to make a shift. The second thing I'm really passionate about talking about is outsourcing. Outsourcing. I listened to a podcast a long time ago that was basically saying there are so many things that we can outsource that we don't even think about. Especially when it comes to household things that we're saying, oh my gosh, I really wish I could organize that room. I really wish I could have more time to clean. Or I want more time to work on my relationship and do date nights or spend time with my husband or date, but I don't seem to find the time. Who's going to cook? Who's going to clean? Who's going to do these things? Well, let me tell you something. You can pay somebody to clean. You can pay somebody to cook. And sometimes you can pay that person $10, $15. It may be worth the money that you're spending on that thing to be able to have time to the things that you value more. And that, again, because I have a little one now, even when it comes to parenting, you may be able to outsource so that you can have more time for those things. There are websites like Fiverr, Fiverr.com, where people, you could pay them $5, $10, $25 to edit, to write a blog, to look at your LinkedIn profile, to do all these different kinds of things associated with business, to even write a speech for you, to write a pitch for you, all these different things. And then there's a website called Upwork, where there's people available for $10 or less all around the world, as well as for higher amounts of money to do different things that you need them to do in business. For people who are not entrepreneurs, there's care.com. People will actually, hey Julia, you can actually pay people to run errands for you. If you need someone to go to the store, pick something up for you, if you need someone to do something in your backyard with some trees, if you need someone to do gardening for you, if you need someone to move something around in your house for you, you can actually go on care.com and pay someone to do that thing. There's also babysitting and tutoring and all that kind of stuff there. But what I'm saying is there are people out there who are wanting the opportunity to get paid to do the thing that is taking up so much time that you don't have the things to do the things that you value. Someone wants to do something to help you out so that you can have more time for your husband, for your boo, for your child, for your business, for your hair, all these things. And the time that you spend, if you think about it, if you're frugal like me, because I'm very frugal, but someone coming in and maybe cleaning my house for $20 or whatever it is, $10, could be worth me having some really good quality time for my husband. It might take me 4 hours to do it. And someone who loves cleaning, it could take them 1 hour to do it. So just thinking about the fact that you're being a blessing to someone else and you're able to do things that you value. So outsource. One of my entrepreneurial colleagues, she outsources and has someone working for her business called a virtual assistant. If you all don't know what that is, I have one who I love dearly. So this person does everything from marketing. They could do sales, they could do research, they can do client calls, all kinds of things. So one of my colleagues has someone who's a virtual assistant for their CPA business. They pay this person $4 an hour. I know that sounds bad, but the person is somewhere else in the world, and this is the price that they put out there for how much they charge for doing the things that they do. But that person is what was able to help my friend build her empire in terms of her CPA business. So again, she's outsourcing. Her business is doing really well. She's able to spend time doing the things she wants to do. So other things. All right. So for me, during one time in my life, when it comes to the being a nurturer and wanting to serve others, but still having our goals in mind and doing the things that we want to do. So there was a time when I was living in Washington, D.C., where I was looking like I was living life like it was golden. I had won an award for the work that I did in the city. Everything seemed like it was going really, really well. But I was tired. I was feeling overwhelmed with just doing too much. I didn't have time to do the things that I needed to do at home for myself. And so one of the things that I want to share with somebody on the line today is that if you believe that God has a vision and a purpose for your life, and that you, in my case, you're supposed to be healthy and at peace in order to do that vision, then you need to change your balance. If you're feeling out of balance, and you're tired and you're overwhelmed, but you feel like God has a vision for your life, but you're worn out all the time, you're not going to be able to do that. So the way that I had to rectify serving others with being able to do my vision is to say, what does God want for me as God wants me to serve others? How can I be full and also be able to serve others in a powerful way? So for me, that meant I needed to be able to sleep. I needed to be able to not do too much. I needed to be able to be in relationship with people like the guy I was dating, my husband. I needed to make sure my finances were in order. I needed to make sure that I was also tapping into my own passions. I love to travel. I love to read. I love to sing randomly around the house. So all of those things, being able to do and even talk to my mentees, that actually fills me up. So how could I do that and still do the other things that he was calling me to do? So I want you to think about that. Where does God want you to be individually so that you're able to fulfill your purpose. I think that's really important. So the next thing is motivation. And this is something that I did a YouTube video on, but I just want to reinforce it. How do you stay motivated? Because part of our time management is that sometimes we're sitting and we're trying to do something. We're spending 3 hours in front of the computer and we're only doing 30 minutes of work. So how do you stay motivated? So this is a UVW is the short version of what I'm about to say. So the U stands for you got to know what gets you excited. I have a slow gospel inspiration mix on my YouTube channel that I actually used. I used it in my business to keep me engaged and keep me excited. Even when I was in college, I knew that gospel music or neo soul helped me to do stuff. So if I needed to clean the dorm room that we were in, I would put on some NDRE, light some candles, and I would be cleaning. So in my business, I learned that there were certain songs that helped me to move forward and stay focused in doing my work. So for me, gospel music, neo soul music, I'm responsive to that. So that slow gospel mix actually has like over 1,000 views. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, but that is one of the things that inspired me. For you, it could be exercise. Maybe you need some sort of exercise thing at your table, at your desk. Maybe every 30 minutes you need to go and do something exciting. Maybe there's an accountability partner. One of my clients has an accountability partner where she has to go to that person's house or she has them come over to her house. She feels like the only way she can stay focused when she's working is if someone else is there who's like, you're not getting up. What are you watching right now? Because you're supposed to be doing your work. So maybe that's called social accountability. Maybe it's you telling someone, hey, I need to do this thing by tomorrow. Can you hold me accountable? So figure out the you, what works for you when it comes to staying motivated. The V is for visualization. So being able to visualize where you will be at the end of what you're doing. When it comes to Daphne Valcin coaching, I pray in a few years to be able to bring in movement into my business and to really impact a large amount of individuals. So I imagine myself maybe someday having a conference for women. I imagine people dancing. I imagine myself on the stage. I imagine individuals' lives being touched, all those kinds of things. I actually imagine myself on the stage, the people in the crowd, and me saying things that resonate with them. So I think to myself, what am I doing now in order to work towards that vision? Where do I need to be now in order to make that happen? On a daily basis, I do visualization exercises as much as I can do them. So when it comes to Jasmine, motherhood can be tiring sometimes, but it's such an honor. So in the beginning of the day, I imagine myself playing with Jasmine, spending time with Jasmine, feeling full, feeling energized, getting her excited, making her feel happy, pouring into her, because I want her to be successful. I want her to be happy. I want her to be joyful. And I want me to make sure that I'm interacting with my daughter in a way that honors her. So I do visualization exercises like that, even when it comes to parenthood, when it comes to clients, when it comes to how I want my day to go, and when it comes to long-term plans. If you are taking a class, I think that's one of the hardest things we deal with in terms of procrastination, all that kind of stuff, or a certification program. Visualize yourself on that graduation stage, getting a certificate in the mail, completing that math class, that English class successfully, getting that LCSW license. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, I want you to think about yourself on the other side of that, but visualize yourself. So not only say, man, I can't wait to finish. If it's the LCSW, which I hear a lot of different individuals can be nervous about, I want you to think about yourself sitting on the other side of that table, speaking to that client as a licensed clinical social worker, impacting their lives, pouring into their lives. So visualization research shows actually increases your ability to do something. So again, you're able to spend that time more what's the word I'm looking for? More effectively. So you're not wasting time. You're on the grind, you're motivated so that you're able to implement those things that you want to implement. And the last thing, that UVW, the W is know your why. So know your why as to why you're doing something. And sometimes our why is not big enough. I hope this isn't a downer for anyone, but the individuals who I've spoken to who wanted to start a business and who came to me because they thought I could be helpful, if it was only about money, oftentimes those individuals weren't as successful as quickly, or weren't as successful in general, or didn't follow through on the initiative they were taking for their business. It has to be about something bigger. Your self-care has to be about something bigger. Your relationship, healing your relationship with your husband or your boo, or being a great parent has to be about something big. Your entrepreneurial endeavor has to be about something bigger. Some ideas for what it could be about. Maybe it could be about God. If you are spirit driven, maybe it's about God and his purpose for your life. If you maybe had a certain kind of upbringing, maybe it's about what you want for your children. If you have spent so many years not in peace, maybe it's about being in peace. Peace, 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 peace. Peace is so important. Years ago, I remember saying that's what I wanted. And a lot of people would say most of us want peace, even though we say we want something else. But I just wanted peace in my life, and I wanted to figure out how to get there. If you're thinking about shifting careers, you've been in a job for 10 years, you really don't like it, you're comfortable, but you need a shift, it has to be about something that's bigger than money. It has to be about something bigger. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's legacy. Maybe you want to do something that you want to pass down for generations to come. Maybe you're writing a book. The book can't be about money. It has to be about something bigger in order for you to feel like you need to really implement this book, that you need to really dedicate time on a weekly basis to write the book in order to help it go from vision to writing on paper. If you haven't done that yet, it has to be about something big. It has to be about something big. And if it's about something big, it'll be more urgent. It'll be more urgent. The reason why I'm able to be kind and sweet to my baby Jasmine, even when I'm really tired, is because it's about something bigger. I have and I'll talk about that on another Facebook Live. One of my clients asked me to speak about, or one of my prospective clients, about my labor experience. But basically, to make a long story short, I have been envisioning Jasmine's life for the seeds that I want to plant in her. That's my child, from before she was born. Very specifically. Now, I don't know where she's, like, what God wants for her or what her future's going to bring, but I know that my job is to plant those seeds in her. So for me, every day it's an urgent matter with being a good parent to Jasmine. So again, think about your why. What is your why? And is it big enough to drive you when you feel like, just things are not going as planned? So that's the U, VW, you know what you like, know what motivates you. V, visualize very specifically, sounds, pictures, imagery. And then the W, what's your why? So the next is organization I'm going to talk about. So organizing. A lot of visionaries that I know are not organized. And that's a problem, because if you have a whole bunch of ideas, or even if you have one idea that you're thinking about, there has to be some organization about it. And if it's not you who's doing the organizing, again, I'm gonna call this outsourcing. Even if you're not paying somebody, you need a friend or someone who can help you to organize your thoughts and your action steps. Find out what tool works for you. I love Google Calendar. Most of my clients, I end up sharing my screen with them so that they can see how my Google Calendar is. Basically, it's blocked, it's color-coded, it's task-oriented. So Google Calendar is one tool. The Reminders app I used in one of my jobs. It was a $1 billion nonprofit, and they used the Reminders app to track the different tasks that they had to do. The Reminders app is in iPhone. There's AnyDo. My husband actually uses AnyDo to track the different action steps that he has to do. These are all applications. Another thing is list. One of my friends does a paper list. Almost every day, he writes a list of the things he needs to do on a piece of paper, on a random piece of paper. But this young man has pursued an MBA program. He's making quite a bit of money. He has a master's from an Ivy League university. For him, writing the list on the little piece of paper works. So write the list, check the list off. That's one thing that people do. Sticky notes could be your thing. A bulletin board could be your thing. A mirror. One of my sorority sisters, who I love dearly, had a mirror, and I think she wrote things with lipstick on the mirror. She had a 3.9 GPA in undergrad, made 6 figures right out of undergrad, could have graduated in 3 years. I love her and admire her dearly. This young lady, she could have used other tools, but I know she used a mirror and wrote things on there that were her vision, her dreams, her goals, and her important action steps. So thinking about what tool works for you, and you can try things, and if they don't work, just move on to the next tool. But I know for me, Google Calendar is probably one of the biggest reasons that I have a successful business. And then time blocking. So this is the thing. I'm not sure how you do your schedule, but according to research, the most successful people time block, meaning And they do the hard things first. So meaning not only do they schedule and say, I'm about to do cleaning during this time, but they say, I'm going to clean my desk out, or I'm going to remove papers from my desk. Very specific. If it's about sales or business, I am going to call 5 prospective clients. I'm going to research what it takes to copyright my material. So very specifically blocking out tasks in the day, and in my experience, blocking out more time than what is needed for the task that you need to do. So again, blocking out time for tasks, blocking out more time than what is needed. And then the second part of that is doing the hard things first. So do the hard things first. The thing that you don't want to do, the thing that you've been dragging your feet to do, if it's that book, write the first chapter. Write the first page of the book. If it's cleaning, do the hard thing first. If it's sales, call the client, call the prospective client before you do the easy stuff, before you do your social media post. Do the hard thing first so that you can get those hard things out of the way and experience blessings and fruit in your business or in your life. If it's career, and you're having an issue with applying for jobs and you're in between jobs and you're in a current job, do the thing that you don't want to do. Write the cover letter first. Maybe the cover letter is stopping you from following through with applying to the position that you want to apply to. Maybe deep down inside, and we talked about this last Facebook call, maybe you're procrastinating on that application because you don't feel like you have what it takes to get the job. Do the cover letter first. Then do the easy application where you're filling in your name and your address. So the hard thing first in every situation, and then block out time needed to do these different specific tasks so you know from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., dream chasing time. And that's what I talked about in the beginning of the call. Dream chasing time. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., I'm going to be doing something for my business. I will not be watching so-and-so show. I won't be at the mall. I'm not going to be on Facebook. I'm going to be spending 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. doing dream chasing time, and then get specific on blocking out the tasks associated with that time. So I'm going to have, as I said in the beginning of this call, a blog post coming out at 10 p.m. on 10 a.m. on daphnevalson.com that has some of the things that I mentioned on the call today, so that if you like to see things, that you'll be able to see it written down. Please take this call, like it, share it with individuals who you think it could be a blessing to. And then remember, what I do is I work with business coaching clients and life coaching clients. For the business coaching clients, I help them to go from vision to business or business to a more profitable business through clarity, confidence, and cash flow. And then my life coaching clients, some of them are career coaching and some of them are simply leadership coaching clients where we're going through different components of their life and working through an action plan so that they can experience long-term results. And if you feel like it's time to pursue coaching with me, definitely go to daphnevalson.com and you can book a consultation with me as well, or share this with a friend. But I really wanted to go over this particular topic because I think it hits on almost everyone who I've worked with has needed some more time management support. And so these are some of the specific things that I feel like really have impacted my own life and my business. And if I didn't have the discipline of time management, I would not have a business, nor a nonprofit, nor would I be able to do the things that I try to do to be there for my husband and my child. So hopefully this is a blessing to you. Thank you all for being on my Facebook Live. And I hope you have an amazing day. If this was helpful to you, if you like this, if there was something that stood out, also feel free to comment below. Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.